Welcome to another episode of Aspect Science in Focus, where I take a closer look at some of my favourite scientific stories that I've come across in the past week. So the first story comes from Popular Science, but the story has been in the news quite a lot in the past week. In 2016, a bacterium was discovered that's evolved the use of polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, as an energy source. Now this article on Popular Science looks at a study where a team was investigating the enzyme used by the bacterium, which is called PETase. They changed the structure of the enzyme slightly to compare it to another enzyme which breaks down certain structures in plants. And unexpectedly, they created a PETase structure with a 20% improvement in degrading PET. Now, with the world's oceans receiving over 8 million tons of our plastic waste each year, plastic pollution is fast becoming one of the biggest concerns to the natural world. But people are becoming more aware and conscious of the problem due to viral videos and photos like this one from a few months back. But actual solutions currently being implemented are few and far between. But this accidental discovery could allow bottles to be broken down before they even enter the environment, and could allow greatly improved recycling uses of plastic bottles compared to what we can do right now. For instance, instead of the 450 years that it takes PET to break down naturally, it could be reduced to just a few days using these sorts of enzymes. I really like this piece of news because it shows that some of the most important discoveries in science can just happen because of happy accidents. But what do you think of this? I'd really love to know your thoughts on this as a potential solution to the plastic pollution crisis. And do you know of any other happy accidents that potentially changed the world? Leave a comment and let me know. So the next story comes from Scientific American. Now, despite what you may think, humans aren't the only animals that have discovered medicinal products in nature. Some animals actually display a behaviour called zoopharmacognosy, and this is where they actually self-medicate by taking things like plants, soils and psychoactive drugs and either ingest them or topically apply them to their bodies in order to prevent or reduce effects of diseases or toxins. For instance, chimpanzees sometimes chew on bitter leaves, which have anti-parasitic effects and correspond to a noticeable drop in parasitic infections. And another example is where tobacco hornworms ingest nicotine, which reduces colony growth and toxicity of soil-dwelling bacteria, and because of this it increases the survival of the hornworm. And in this article from Scientific American, after 20,000 hours of observation, some orangutans have been seen self-medicating in a potentially unique and novel way. These orangutans have been seen chewing a particular plant into a lather and massaging it into their upper arms and legs for up to 45 minutes at a time. And something cool about this is that local people actually use the same plant to treat their aches and pains, with the plant thought to have anti-inflammatory properties. And interestingly, it's thought to be the first known example of a non-human animal using a topically applied painkiller, almost like when we would rub ibuprofen gel into our muscles when we're sore. And some have actually suggested that observations like this of the natural world might lead to finding more medication for humans to use in the future. But what do you think about this? Do you think it would be exciting for us to use observations from experiments like this to find plants and chemicals in nature that might be useful for us? Leave a comment down below, let me know. So the final story that I wanted to talk about comes from Science Daily, where a research group from UCLA has used AI deep learning to enhance microscopic details up to close to laboratory grade microscope quality, simply using pictures that were taken on one of these, a mobile phone. So you've probably seen one of these before. It's a little attachment that you can put on your phone, which lets you put different lenses onto your phone for taking different types of pictures. But these guys have actually developed an attachment that can increase the visibility of tiny details of an image on your phone down to the scale of approximately 1/1,000,000th of a meter. The researchers took images of things like lung tissue samples, first using lab-grade microscopes, and then with a smartphone using this attachment that they had developed. These pairs of images were then fed into a computer system that rapidly learns how to enhance the mobile phone images. The team's aim is to bridge the gap in image quality between inexpensive mobile phone-based microscopes and gold standard benchtop microscopes. The attachment that they developed can be 3D printed for less than $100 a piece, which could help bring high-quality medical diagnostics to resource-poor regions that can't afford traditional lab-grade equipment that can cost thousands of dollars. And because of this, the new technology and the AI deep learning techniques could find numerous applications in things like global health. So AI is in the news a lot recently, and in the coming years it's probably just going to be in the news more and more often. But this story in particular shows me the potential positive impacts and positive uses of AI in the future. But what do you think? Are you skeptical about using AI in this sort of way, or are you just excited that it might be opening up new medical possibilities that potentially some people in the world don't have access to currently? So that's it for the stories of this episode. As always, all of the links to the stories will be down in the description below if you want to check them out, as well as a bonus link to another story. Which leads me on to my suggestion of the week. This week it's a video from the Royal Society's YouTube channel that was released a while back. It's part of their People in Science series, and in this episode Brian Cox sits down with Sir David Attenborough to discuss his admiration for Charles Darwin. It's really great to see two of the world's leading science communicators sit down and talk about one of the world's most influential scientists of all time. And a great plus is that the video itself is produced really nicely. It's a really easy watch. So definitely go and check that one out when you've got a minute. Thanks for watching another episode of Aspect Science in Focus. We've got a lot more videos like this coming out soon, so feel free to subscribe if you want to see more just like this. So that's it for now. I'm Tom, and I'll see you next time.